I missed this inbox item last year. I'm not missing it this year. The next gen top 50 list is out. The top 3 players are ours. And at number 1, and I love this, Sam Fay becomes, I think, the first player I've ever had in Football Manager to come through my own youth intake and feature top of the next gen list. The 19-year-old has had a sensational season as of late. 6 goals, 6 assists, above a 7.0 rating in a Premier League debut season for a 19-year-old. Is very, very good. If anything, previous seasons have set the expectations unreasonably high. Elsewhere too, you can see Mosquera coming in at number 2. The Ecuadorian fullback signed for £2.5 million at the start of the year. Safe to say that was £2.5 million well spent. And last year's runner-up in the Next Gen Award, Pietro Pellegata, has ended up in at number 3 this year, slipping down 1 spot following his transfer from Spezia. But yeah, what a sensational achievement this is. The top 3 players all our own. And in fact, if we just look at Rugby Town players, there are 6 of our players in the top 50. Misiak in at number 6. Yeah, it's kind of mad, isn't it? We're quite good here. Now, at the moment, in-game, the date is the 31st of March. I am coming back for an FA Cup semi-final. That game is against Championship Middlesbrough. We really should win it. Preceding that game, we also have a league match against Luton. We were promoted with them last year. I've not done the away day at Luton before. Today we're going to do that, but we're going to go and run the intro first. Yeah, we do have to run the intro at some point. This is a terrible transition. Editing Jack, put it in here, please, mate. Thank you. Yes, folks, how is it going? Welcome back to Puck to Prem. Today is episode number 77. You already know what's coming up today. First, let's recap the matches since last episode. And in fact, since last episode, only 4 games played. The first, a draw against Brentford. There's been a few games like this one this year where we get draws in games where before the game I feel like we should have won it, and then after the game I think, you know what, maybe we got away with it a little bit. We did not show up in this game. Ospina did grab a goal for us, which was, I guess, good to see. Sadly, his lone goal wasn't enough to get the win. Following on from that, though, we have managed to get 3 wins on the bounce. This run of slightly more easy games started with this one against Leicester. We won this game 3-1. Pellegata, Fahey, and also Ospina with the all-important goals. We had a little bit of a second-half comeback to achieve, but statistically, we did dominate this game. And having struggled for wins lately, we went on to win the next 2 games as well. Again, games that we should be winning when you look at them on paper, and the league position made somewhat easier by the fact that both Aston Villa and Nottingham Forest had sendings off. This game here was just us running riot in the second half. It was 0-0 at half-time. So 5-0 against Aston Villa was great. 4-0 against Nottingham Forest. Not too shabby either. Sending off did make this game a little bit easier, but nevertheless, good to get a win. Great to get a clean sheet too. And to make things even better, Misiak, man of the match. His first ever man of the match in Rugby Town colours. Suspect it'll be the first of many. So with our recent uptick in form, we have started to climb back up the Premier League. We are sat in 6th place right now, which truthfully is probably about as high as we can expect to climb. Sadly for us, Manchester City 11 points clear of us. There's only 4 games left of the season, and we do still have Newcastle United, who are just 2 points behind us to play. I think on the final day. Just checking things here. Yeah, can confirm away against Newcastle United, last game of the season. That could be a tricky and important one. What I will say is, though, our goal difference is better than that of Tottenham and Newcastle. At this point, I don't want to say it too loudly and too prematurely, top 8 really should be on the cards. We're 6 points ahead of an Everton team that have capitulated lately. They have just been absolutely shocking. Yeah, I mean, you could see here. They've not won in their last 8 games. Now, over the last few episodes, we've had lots of very, very difficult games, I think it's safe to say. Today, though, are 2 games that I look at and think, we should win those. The first, as I've mentioned, is against Luton. Promoted with them last year from the Championship. They finished 2nd behind ourselves, but given how they're going this year where they're down in 19th, we should win this one. And then after all of that, we have the FA Cup semi-final, which if we manage to win, will book us a game against Arsenal. Just as a reminder, not beaten Arsenal in this save game, lost to them twice 3-1 this season. In this universe, Luton, managed by Wayne Rooney of all people, they currently play at Power Court, which is a great name for a stadium, but it's also a stadium that doesn't exist in real life. But instead, we're going to go to Kenilworth Road. It's one of the smallest Premier League stadiums ever. Looking forward to it as an away day. Let's get right into it. I feel like over the duration of this save game, there's been a little bit of beef, hasn't there, between me and Luton. I just like to complain about Luton after one bad experience at the airport. The actual place itself, not that bad from what I've seen. Here is, by the way, Kenilworth Road. It is a proper old school stadium, and if we go to the satellite view, as you might be able to tell, it's not the most modern of stadiums. I will say now, this rather grainy looking satellite footage doesn't make it look any more modern, does it? Now, you may notice, if you're not familiar with this ground, that the Oak Road end is literally backed onto a row of houses. I assume we're going to be able to look at this in all its glory. The entrance for the stadium is between a load of houses. Literally, you get in through people's gardens. Mental. Just as a reminder, this is a Premier League stadium. I didn't actually pay attention. Are there dots in the inside? There's one. We'll come on to that shortly. Firstly, I just really want to savour the ground from the outside. This is a proper stadium, isn't it? Imagine living in one of these houses. You have to be a Luton fan to live here, don't you? I feel like I just want to look at every single road that leads to the ground to see how they all look. What I will say is, not the most glamorous angle of the stadium here, is it? There's not a load of views of the stadium inside, so I feel like we might as well explore all the roads on the outside. Here is the Luton Town Club Shop, everyone. Not a superstore, club shop. Give them points for that. Also, as far as ticket offices go, right, it's not the most modern of facilities, is it? If we're being real. This is your ticket office. It's literally a shed. And here is another view of the stadium. Little bridge here. Football stadium. It's just sat here. Yeah, I love the grounds like this. This is proper football, innit? Now, sadly, there isn't any footage inside the ground besides one dot. So, I mean, expectations, they're lofty. Please tell me it's going to work. Please tell me it's going to work. Are you telling me that I can't actually go inside the ground? I've just refreshed my browser. I can't. It won't let me go in the ground. Well, we're going to have to go to Google Earth. As you may have gathered from the general aesthetics of this football stadium, it is a rather traditional football ground, isn't it? I mean, in terms of appearances, it's one of the most unique looking stadiums we've seen. It's not even got kind of a proper square shape because they've got to build around whatever this is. I thought it was a train line, but I saw what I thought was some buses driving down it. So I don't know if it was a train line at some point. Either way, it's just a cool football stadium, isn't it? You can't really expand it anywhere, you know? I can see why they needed to build a new ground in-game. Just a reminder, this is in real life a Premier League football stadium. I know over the summer just gone, they put a load of money into the infrastructure of this stadium to actually make sure it's ready for broadcasting, you know, globally on a Premier League stage. Some really interesting footage of all the behind the scenes going on. A monumental achievement as well to get it all working. And, I mean, just look at it. Drink in. It's a proper English football stadium. No superstore. Haven't really mentioned it. There is literally no car parking. Okay, Kenilworth Road. I love this from a character point of view, but the lack of footage on the inside has to cost it, and the lack of car parking. Love the store, though. Not a superstore, just a store. And when you look at how big the store is, it is literally just a shed. I feel like that away day was a throwback to years ago when we were in the lower echelons of the Football League, but nevertheless, I love Kenilworth Road as a ground. As an away day with our metrics, we score it on here. Slightly less so. Going to give it a 5 out of 10. To add better car parking and footage on the inside, it probably would have been around a 7 or 8. Now, Luton's form coming into this game is absolutely dreadful. We should be beating them, and we should be beating them convincingly. In terms of team news, you'll notice here, there's no absentees, which is fantastic. Also, I feel like I still want to get Lee Min into the team, and I still don't know how to do it. Right now, I am training him to play as an inverted wing-back, but I have been training his jumping reach and his aerial ability, kind of alternating. I'm hoping that if the man learns to jump, maybe he could play centre-back. I've been playing him at left-back recently with NDIA playing at centre-back. He's actually now played 8 games at centre-back for us, so it is something I'm willing to persist with. Ordinarily, with an FA Cup game in midweek, I would probably be looking to rotate the team ahead of this game, but it's against a championship team. We shouldn't need to rotate our team for this one. Of course, if I now go on to lose this game with a full strength 11 and then bottle it against Middlesbrough, the team I've just labelled as just a championship team, it will be embarrassing. Okay, of all the games we've done in live commentaries this year, this is the one I am most expectant to win. We should be doing very, very well in this game. We've won 4-0 recently. We've won 5-0 recently. I wanted to say we've got off to the dream start, but I've seen the flag raised. He looked offside by a country mile. Yeah, Roger Ospina, He's the most frustrating player in the world because on his day, he's absolutely unplayable. And then on other days, he just doesn't seem to understand the offside rule. We'll hope that today's one of the days where he can actually score goals, but this is not the start I wanted to see from him. Okay, set piece on the near side. Forms is the man over it with a wand of a left foot. I say wand. It's not really a wand. We don't really have a magician with the ball. He's more a pauper with a stick, but he's going to whack the ball in with his stick as far as Rojas, who keeps it alive here, pulls it back to Sneddon. And I'm not sure why for a moment I thought the right centre-back was going to score there. His shot goes off target, and now we might have some defending to do of our own. Charles with the ball for them, lays it back to McGrath. He might look to pull the trigger here, gets into the box, options in the middle, and they've scored. The referee's looking at something, and I need the VAR man to bail me out here, please. Just as a reminder, they're in the relegation zone. We should be beating them comfortably. And yet they find themselves a goal ahead. The ball here held up, laid back to McGrath. Loads of options in the middle. And when it was squared here, well, I'm going to be honest, Schumacher looks like he should have done better, based on the 3D at least. I know someone's going to ask, is it Guernsey Hall of Famer Brandon Charles playing for Luton? No, it's Shay Charles. A man who we actually looked at, you might remember, in the summer. I'll level with you, as far as first halves go, this might be the worst one I've seen from us all year. It's 1-0 to Luton. We've not had a shot on target. I'm not going to throw a water bottle, but you know it's serious because I am going to do a gesture. Hands together. I'm not angry, I'm just disappointed. I'm going for the tough parenting approach today. Okay, we need a turnaround in this second half, but I know we're capable of doing that. On paper, we have a much better team than Luton. Now we need to show it on grass where Rojas has a shot that's tipped onto the post. You know what? 10 minutes into this half, I'm looking across at our performers in this game, and I'm not happy with many of them at all. João Victor, off you come. Going to bring in Wesley Gomez for him and then move Riviere to defensive midfielder. NDIA's been awful. Lee Min on you come. And, well, attacking midfield-wise, I'm looking at the likes of Faye on a 6.5 thinking, what's wrong, mate? And I'm also looking at Misiak thinking, Ngoma might be needed. Do I want to make all my changes now? I want to take off Rod Ospina. I'll keep him on for now. He's got half an hour to earn his spot in the team. I say half an hour, maybe 20 minutes. At 75 minutes, he's coming off if it's still 1-0 to them. That said, I'm going to hope that the subs we have made can make a difference in this game, and I'm hoping it's going to be a positive one. I say that because Luton are looking to try and get the ball forward. They've not brought it forward many times in this game, but when they have done, they scored. And while they're on the attack again here, Okocha to Mills. I really thought we'd turned a corner with our recent form. This game here is just, it's perhaps the worst we've ever played. You know, we beat Manchester United last episode, didn't we? They've now won the Premier League, by the way, with 4 games to spare. And yet here, we just look lacking. But a goal could quickly change that. There's still half an hour left. And Ospina just kicked it straight at the goalkeeper. I hate Ospina. I know there's half an hour left and I might live to regret it. Alvarez, on you come. Alvarez has gone from earning £200,000 a week in Saudi Arabia to earning £40,000 a week playing against Luton. Some would call that a fall from grace. I'd call that being a proper footballer. Genuinely, I can't remember a performance worse than this, and this is definitely not the kind of performance I need when I know we've got the FA Cup in a few days' time. There's 15 minutes left. I wouldn't count against us getting back into this game. But I'm going to be honest, I'm looking at what I'm seeing and the chances we're creating. We look awful. 5 minutes left in this game. Luton have had 2 shots all game and 1 on target. Are they really about to win this game? I mean, we've been awful. I've gone more attacking. I've got shouty. Is there a chance for an equaliser? I don't even feel like an equaliser makes a world of difference here. This has just been one of those games that you look at in Football Manager and go, one of those. Unless you're a truly elite team with ridiculous players across the board, you're never guaranteed a performance, are you, in game? And this one here just really emphasises the fact we're not an elite team yet. Luton 1, Rugby 0, unless there's to be the latest of late goals. And in some ways, a draw wouldn't even really cheer me up. I mean, Pietro's got a chance here. He scored. I can't even celebrate it. I know it's a point. It might prove crucial at the end of the year. I'm just too angry. The small club mentality of our players to celebrate that goal. No, we don't celebrate draws away from home against Luton Town. That is not what we're all about here. We do not have the elite mentality yet. And that kick did end up being the last we'd see in terms of highlights at the end of the game. 1-1, probably deserve it on the balance of play. We were all over them, but I'm just annoyed. I'm just annoyed today. The only silver lining to all of this is we drew. Newcastle just lost to Leicester. Leicester in 11th place, doing us a favour by beating Newcastle. Tottenham lost to Sunderland. Do you know what? It's a massive point. It's a great point. I can't believe Tottenham have just lost to bottom of the table Sunderland. Sunderland are already relegated, and they've just beaten Tottenham. I love Sunderland. Shout out to the people of Sunderland. I can't believe I'm now looking at a draw against the team in 19th thinking it's a good result. In the grand scheme of things, when you look around elsewhere and everyone else bottling it, great point. Pietro, what a performance. Okay, I don't mean to be rude here. We've had a fixture rearranged. Our game between ourselves and West Ham has been moved to the 1st of May due to Hinckley Leicester Road v Corn. Remember Corn from our very early years of the save game? What match are they playing in our ground, which means it has to be moved? They're playing the playoff finals, the Northern Premier League semi-final, in our stadium. Why are you using our ground? If someone wants to explain to me why Hinckley Leicester Road, I mean, it's a neutral venue, I guess, in the Midlands that they need to play at. Why has our ground been picked? I'm annoyed. Our stadium, I don't think, has ever played host to another team, and now we're being used as a neutral venue, even though we've only got 2,000 seats. I don't get it. Either way, it doesn't really matter for the here and now, that game being moved. What matters for the here and now is the fact we are off to Wembley. Middlesbrough so far are the upset kings, I feel like, of the FA Cup. They've knocked out Newcastle, they've knocked out Nottingham Forest, they've knocked out a few big guns. Their recent form in the Championship is shocking. Surely they can't knock out us as well. Okay, well, let's be honest. Last match, shambolic. This game should be easier, although the Luton game should have been easy. Middlesbrough away, a Middlesbrough team who are currently in the Championship. Of course, we were a Championship team making the FA Cup semi-final last year. I'm going to hope that we can beat them 5-1, just like Manchester United beat us 5-1 last season. So I have been using the FA Cup this season as a chance to rotate the team, and I am going to continue to do that. We've got players we've used in this cup competition. They're going to continue to get the nod. I suppose the thing that will be nice for long-term viewers, aka you watched last season, is the fact that Gasperi and Jedinak are reunited at centre-back for this game. The Australian is going to be playing alongside his Italian little friend. These two guys getting us promoted from the Championship last year, reunited. Elsewhere in the team, Pietro and Ngoma are going to start. I'm going to play them this way around. Ngoma's left-footed and definitely more of an advanced playmaker. And in the final third, remember David? Yeah, we signed him on deadline day, didn't we? For £9 million. I've given him a couple of appearances in the league, but we have a chance to play him here. And at 19 years old, he's got his first goal for the Czech Republic now. He is continuing to get better as well, training really well. He's going to make his live commentary debut. At least I think this is his live commentary debut. I don't think he started the other two Premier League games in episodes. Either way, I'll just claim it. It's his live commentary debut, you can't argue with it. You could argue it's a little bit of a risk to rotate the team like I have for this one, but given the fact that this is the team that managed to get us promoted from the Championship last season, I have to believe that, these players combined with a few of the newer, younger additions are going to be able to dispatch with a Middlesbrough team that, let's be honest, we really, really should be beating. They've not won any of their last 5 games. I will now say, if I go on to lose this game, I am going to look like an idiot. I have kept some of the big guns on the bench, though. If we need Roger Rojas to come in or Sam Fay, they can be called upon. Anyway, I'm going to hope that we can get the job done nice and early here as Miyazawa, playing as the defensive midfielder, lays it wide to Lee Min and Ngoma. Could go back to Lee Min, could go back to Gasperi. I'll tell you what, it feels like we're watching last year's team, doesn't it? At the moment, as I see Gasperi and Jedinak linking up. Lee Min has options on ahead. He can pick out David Sinkule on his debut. He scores. 10 minutes in, we take the lead. The youngster with his first goal for the club, and it's at Wembley. I know there were some question marks over this signing. I do feel like long-term David will break into the first team or can be flipped on for some money. And I mean, with finishes like that, I can't help but think that some of the big teams are going to be checking him out. Czech, because he's from Czech Republic, Czechia. Yeah, okay. Moving on. I wonder how many times I've made that pun during the save game. I feel like whenever you have a player from the Czech Republic, you have to make that pun. Even if I've done it 5 times before in this series, I'll do it again. You can't stop me. Wesley Gomez playing that defensive midfielder role for us today. I feel like Gomez and Bilardo are 2 players that could find themselves moving out from the club come the end of the year. Gomez, though, has been the more reliable of the 2, hence the fact he's in the squad today. I'm going to hope that he can pull the strings from deep, the Brazilian, as he spreads it wide to Pietro. Options in the middle. Sinkule is one of them. He's got another. He's on for a hat-trick on his live commentary debut. It might be against the championship team. Don't let that distract you. Gomez with a little switcher play. Pietro Pellegata, he's not taken kindly to the fact he dropped in the next-gen ranking. Second last year, third this year. He's going for number 1 next year. Nice little assist for him. Mosquera on the far side, throwing it into Curlin. Pellegata back to Mosquera, the right back, getting forward, putting it in, and Goma goes down in a heap. A penalty's been given. David has a chance at a 20-minute hat-trick. Can he score it? Of course he bloody can. He scored a hat-trick in an FA Cup semi-final. 8 or 9 million well spent as far as I'm concerned. Annoyingly, really, this was the kind of performance I was hoping we might see against Luton with the first team. We rotated the team a little bit for this game, which could have been viewed as a gamble, but at least right now it looks like a gamble that was worth taking. But maybe we should just hold off the celebrations. Bob Barton, fantastic name, has scored from a corner to make it 3-1. It was whipped to the back post, and again, it's Schumacher doing Schumacher things. I need a new goalkeeper in the summer, I've decided. I've not been annoyed this much by a Schumacher since Mick Schumacher in F1 Manager 22, and that bloke really annoyed me. I'm going to tell the players they're doing brilliantly, except you, Schumacher, you're rubbish. Look at it, everyone's doing great. David, 9.2 rating. I love him already. Still 45 minutes of this game left to be played, but it's almost looking like a certainty that next time out, we will have an FA Cup final to end the season, alongside probably the game against Newcastle. That game, just as a reminder, could determine which European competition we go into. If we were to win the FA Cup, though, we would be guaranteed a Europa League spot, so I'd very much like to win the FA Cup, just for the silverware, if nothing else. Time is flying by in the second half. Not a lot happening, but I suppose with our noses ahead, it doesn't really concern me so much. I'm going to take off Ngoma for Misiak elsewhere. Going to bring in NDIA, and I'm going to play him at centre-back, just to continue to give him some minutes there. I have 1 sub left. You know what? Schumacher's annoyed me so much. I'm just going to bring in Dekanovic. I feel like I've got a lot of built-up anger this year over Schumacher, and now I've hit my boiling point on the goal they scored. Really, I should be focusing on the positives. We've now scored a corner of our own, and it's 4-1. Everything's fine. Last year, we lost 5-1 to Manchester United. It'd be rather poetic, wouldn't it be, to get the 5th? Sadly, it's not going to happen. The second half, not exactly a classic, but the job was done in the first half. A 4-1 win here, that is good enough for me. And that result right there books us a spot in the final where, just as a reminder, we're taking on Arsenal. And if we just look at previous meetings against Arsenal, we've not beaten them yet. So, yeah, not really looking forward to this one. We've conceded 3 goals every time we've played them. We'll give Sinkul some man of the match praise. What a performance by him. 3 goals to his name. This guy has a future at this club, I think. Suppose it's worth pointing out at this point, there's only 3 league games left of the year. We are very much in a battle with the likes of Tottenham and Newcastle. And given the fact we have Newcastle on the final day, feels very likely that will be one of the games we're coming back for next episode, alongside the game against Arsenal. That game, 25 days away. An FA Cup final. Could be our first shot at major silverware. I'd quite like to win it. Today's episode was meant to be a straightforward one with a fun little away day. Instead, I just got really triggered by Luton Town. I feel like that really surmises the Park to Prem experience. If you have enjoyed today's video, as always, go down below, leave a like. Tomorrow, massive episode to end the season. Battling it out for European spots in the Premier League. Shooting it out for silverware against Arsenal. We're going to be coming in gunning. Hopefully it's going to be enough. I'll see you guys then. I'm out.